The irony is going to be that everybody's going to piss and wang when it actually gets announced if they do have a female main character and whatever else. And oh my god, boycott GTA 6, and then everybody will fucking buy it anyway. Right, hello everybody, and welcome to the WCCF Tech Podcast. I am full of cold. I'm coughing up multiple lungs. I've got Slimer from Ghostbusters crawling out of every orifice. So, you know, I'm just a catch. I'm just a catch. Come on, ladies, come get some.
Be infected.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't say every orifice though, otherwise people are going to think every orifice.
It sounds more gruesome if I say that, though. It's only my
Yeah.
nose and throat, but yes. I'm waiting for it to start crawling out my ears.
Yeah.
I don't know how that'll happen, but I'm sure it will. So, yes. So, welcome to Plague Island, everybody. We're joined by Francesco and
Hello, I'm full of heat, by the way.
Alessio.
Yeah, not so much, but yeah, it's still hot, even here.
And that was another cough break. Right, so... Oh my god, my lungs. So what we're talking about, lots of delays, which always happen, and other stuff. We'll just talk about it when it comes to it. Let's start with delays.
Yeah.
So the first one, which, to be fair, I never got to play, but I've seen it in action, was Lord of the Rings Gollum, which is, you know, because we were just talking about Lord of the Rings before starting the podcast. It's fitting.
Yeah, you know, it's not actually the first delay for this game because it was originally meant to release in fall 2021. Then they moved it to spring 2022, then to September 2022, and it was actually a good date because they put it on September 1st, just the day before the new Amazon series. So
Yeah,
it
that
would
made
have
sense.
capitalized on the hype. And now they've still delayed it some more months. They said a few more months, but it is unclear whether it's like December, January, or who knows when. So and I can't say I blame them because, to be honest, the gameplay still looks pretty rough from what I've seen. So, but I don't know if a few more months are going to cut it. Maybe it's just, I don't know. I don't feel very good about this one. The developer isn't exactly known for its, AAA titles. And again, it's such a big IP. I think would have had to go to a better developer, more equipped in general, perhaps even more skilled. But maybe there will be surprises.
You never know. I'm gonna say you never know. It didn't look bad from when I saw it, and I did a preview. Oh Jesus wept. Yeah. Oh my god, my brain's just a fog. Yeah, it didn't look bad, but yeah, you could tell it's not a AAA title. And I've seen people on Twitter like, "Oh my god, he doesn't look like Gollum." Well, no, he doesn't look like the film version of Gollum. And oh my god, the graphics are not, ultra high fangled nipple tassel graphics. And who gives a crap about that? As long as the game's good and the actual stealthy gameplay looked. Yeah, the stealthy gameplay looked alright. The jumpy flying about gameplay looked good though. The platformy stuff. So I don't know. It looks like it should be a decent enough game. Not going to be amazing from what I saw, but you never know. Like you say, they can surprise us. I only got a hands-off look at it at the time, so hands-on, I don't know yet.
Yeah. Maybe, like you said, it may not suck, but I doubt it will be a masterpiece or anything like that, honestly. So we'll see, but they definitely missed a good window of opportunity to release it alongside the TV series. Of course, being a Lord of the Rings title, it will still be hyped, even if it's a bit farther away. But yeah, as we'll say later in the podcast, probably. I think IP holders for such big franchises should be more careful when they license, to certain developers. Uh,
Yeah, to
they
be
have to
fair, I
be more
don't think they
selective.
really care as long as they get money. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
mean,
Well, you
yeah,
always get that that bad reputation. Then
yeah. I
I
mean,
don't think, it may be fine for that one title, but then the next one is going to be, people are going to be wary.
Possibly, possibly. I suppose it depends. Like people are more in tune now to what they used to be on who develops what, or they look for certain names. So yeah, they may be wary, but they're probably going to be a little more aware. I mean, Lord of the Rings has had a very checkered history when it comes to video games, anyway.
yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. Well, every big IP is like that. There are good games then, but they're mostly mediocre or
Yeah.
bad games.
Yeah. For example, this is also true for Warhammer 40K, which is
I was
the
just
other
going to
big
figure out
killer.
how to segue into that.
Yeah,
Well done.
Fat Shark also delayed Dark Tide, and this is also not the first delay for the game, but at least we have a date for this one. It's coming out on November 30 on
Until it
PC.
gets delayed again.
Yeah, hopefully not. But the good news is that there will be some public tests, so you can sign up now if you want to try the game earlier.
Yeah.
And well, also, with Fat Shark, we more or less know what we're going to get, because Dark Tide is ultimately just Vermintide in a new setting and with ranged combat, basically, since
Yeah.
it's Warhammer 40K instead of Warhammer Fantasy. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good game, fun game with friends, especially. It sucks that.
Friends?
I'm
Friend?
multiplayer
What are
friends,
friends?
the band world.
So, what are
so
these
we
things?
so we are not your friends. That's what you're
Ah,
saying. If
I
you
yeah.
don't
didn't
know
say
the
that.
word,
I said I don't understand the meaning of the word. I am not good English. I'm from Yorkshire, up north of England. We don't use good English, us. We know beer,
uh,
whiskey, pub, whippet, flat cap, and pub.
Understood like three of them. So yeah, you're right.
I say
uh,
you've
well,
been up north, Francesco. You know what we're like.
Yeah, yeah, and to be honest, I love you for that. Wish I could be one of you, honestly, sometimes,
There you
but
go.
I'm
uh,
not. I'm not.
Yeah, another delay for the Dark Tide. I was just going to call it Vermintide then.
yeah,
So yeah, another delay for.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
it'll be
moving.
all right. It'll be all right.
Yeah, Dark Tide should be all right. But the biggest news of the week is arguably when it comes to delays, indefinite delays in this case, as the remake of Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. So, Francesco, I leave it to you since you
Yeah,
reported it.
yeah, just like we said, we were saying before we started. They just gave such a big game to an inexperienced developer. I mean, they just released ports so far. And the most disappointing thing is that we don't know if they were right, of course, but the rumors made it sound very interesting. Though they were changing it, they were changing the combat to to action combat instead of the classic role-playing game combat.
I think that's where it's probably gone wrong. They're trying to change the combat because if Asper have done good ports in the past, so
yeah,
there's no
but
reason why they couldn't have done this. Just
you
keep it
know,
the same.
the thing I don't understand, and I think most people don't understand, is how is it possible that you. I mean, it's not like they're a bad developer, but they never shipped a single original title.
Yeah.
I mean, remaking a game from I don't remember how long, more than 20 years.
Yeah.
From more than 20 years back, you're essentially making a new game. You only have the story and the setting, but you have to make everything from scratch. So I don't know how they thought this was a good idea, because they would have had issues, and they apparently have had them. We still don't know if it is because
No,
they
no,
haven't still confirmed about it. But
they have
we do not.
they have developed the game before, but not many.
Yeah, but it's either ports or very small stuff.
Yeah, most of their
A
stuff.
remake, a remake of the Knights of the Old Republic is not small stuff, especially now that Star Wars is more popular than ever
I
with
suppose
all
I understand
the
why they.
Mandalorian and all those
Yeah,
other series.
I suppose I understand why they had them doing. Why they picked Asp because well, they've worked on every other Star Wars game ports since everyone that's come to the Switch that's been Asper. Even the
Yeah.
Old Republic, yeah, even Knights of the Old Republic, which came to the Switch year and a half ago or something.
Yeah, well, I think I read that the port of the second one had some big issues.
Okay.
But also, as Francesco said, this is completely different. I mean, this is going to be a full-fledged AAA remake,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
honestly, I think it requires a very different expertise than just porting an old game as is. So honestly, yeah, and also it's interesting because Sony actually made a deal for the game to be a console exclusive, so they certainly invested into it, and they must be pretty pissed.
Yeah,
at this point. And
It could be Sony that's pulled the plug on it.
but I don't think they're publishing it though.
Well, yeah, but
no, I don't know.
if they want to pull their investment as an exclusive sort of thing,
Mm.
because they're probably well within the rights, if it doesn't meet a certain quality of standard at a certain time, then if Sony's decided, oh, this looks shit, which fair enough if it does.
Mm.
But then
Yeah,
again, it could also be Lucasfilms. Disney. Disney
yeah, but
might have just said there's not enough Catwoman in this, or
but we don't know exactly who gave the thumbs down, but someone did. Reportedly there was a demo, and people and the higher ups really didn't like it. But all hope is not lost, as some sources said that the game might be given to Saber, which is also under the same Embracer Group umbrella.
yeah.
And Saber is certainly a more capable developer, that's for sure. But and we'll have to see if this is confirmed. And even if it is, though, I mean, we'll have to wait a long time because they'd likely have to start from scratch, or maybe nearly so. So
Yeah. It's not looking good. Not looking good. But there you go.
At least we still have the classic, and we can play it pretty much on everything right now.
honestly, I was looking forward to this because I never played the originals.
Mm.
So I was really looking forward to this.
To be honest, I think the first one hasn't aged that well, but it's still very enjoyable. I mean, it's a classic top-down RPG.
Yeah,
But
that's cool.
it's very enjoyable. The second one is a little more divisive. I don't think I completed it. I played it, but I don't think I completed it. It was made by Bioware, I think. So that might be another reason why.
Yeah, no, the first one was made by Bioware. The second one was made by Obsidian. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if either of these studios got to handle the remake, but they are otherwise busy. So
Yeah, BioWare's busy being flagged for closure. It'll happen if they fuck up this next game.
Well,
They're
not Obsidian. Maybe Bioware, but Obsidian.
No,
is
I said,
fine.
yeah, that's what I said. BioWare's being busy being
Okay, I
flagged for
didn't hear.
closure.
Yeah.
Obsidian's not. Obsidian's alright.
Yeah.
BioWare's
yeah, in
screwed.
fact, they are releasing Grounded in late September, so it's coming out. I
Oh
think you
yeah,
played it.
Obsidian's fine. Yeah, I like Grounded. I've been playing that well, quite a while back actually. I haven't played it in a while, but yeah, I like Obsidian. They're good. It's BioWare who are dead.
Yeah.
You know, EA is going to force them to do something with Dragon Age, the next one, and ruin it. And then they're going to blame BioWare for that and close the studio. Probably NFTs.
Chris is always a pessimist. Always.
No, this is me being optimistic.
Well, after Anthem, it's not like they have much.
I'm going to say, this is me being optimistic. The pessimistic of me would just be that whoever Andrew Wilson is just going to go to BioWare Studio and start shitting in everybody's dinner plates.
Which is
I don't
basically
know.
what they did with Anthem. They shit on
Exactly.
everyone's plate.
I still have hopes for Dragon Age 4. We'll see.
I have hopes, but I'm also ill, so don't take my hopes for what they are. A delirious madman's hopes.
You don't know what hope is.
I do.
Yeah.
I hope I win the lottery. I hope I get to retire before I'm a cynical old man. I mean,
You're already a cynical man. You're not old.
I was gonna say I'm just waiting for that. I just need to retire before I'm old. So, in fact, we can get the cynical me out this time in the next two things, Xbox and Sony, their financial results when they're all talking shit again. Well, it's mainly Sony. So go on, talk to us about Xbox first.
Well, it seems like revenues were down for both the Xbox and PlayStation divisions this quarter. And to be honest, that's not very surprising because neither company really released any big games in this quarter. And also, just generally, even Sony, for example, said it outright. Now that all COVID restrictions, have been lifted pretty much anywhere, maybe except China, where they do lockdowns for millions of people just for a couple of cases. But other than that, it's most people are just enjoying the summer now. Tourism has rebounded in most places, so people are just enjoying outside activities more than last year, and especially the 2 years ago, the year of the pandemic. So they're explaining it away as mostly seasonality. I don't know if that's the whole case, but they're counting on making up for it in the next quarter, the next half of the year as well. For example, Sony has some big releases coming up, like The Last of Us Remake and God of War Ragnarok. Microsoft doesn't have the same stuff, same big stuff coming up in this year, at least. They do have lots of stuff coming up next year. But just generally, it's a bit of a tough year for gaming, but only if you compare it to the extraordinary years that we've had between 2020 and 2021, and that's largely because everyone was locked down, right? So everyone was playing games or watching TV series, and while playing games, of course, player spending grew a lot. So, it's just a tough comparison to make now that things are going back to normal. And it's just normal that growth is perhaps stalling a bit, but the expectation is that it will resume as soon as we have some big games coming up.
So I just looking keep because normally things are when you get figures they're year on year. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I always look. It's like this time last year, we were still in the middle of COVID. So towards the end of COVID, but there were still had more fears. There were still issues about people doing traveling. There's still issues about so many
Yeah.
things. So it's like
Yeah.
it's so obvious the reason why sales aren't. I mean, not only that, there's a massive financial implication in why sales are dropping, and they're not going to recover over the next year or two, or not to a large degree, because people can't afford to buy as much, and they're certainly not going to be able to soon with the cost of oil and cost of heating and etc. For Sony, moaning, them saying like there's been a 15% or was something like 15% decline in gameplay time. It's like, well, that's
Yeah.
because people were sat at home,
Yeah.
and people are allowed to leave the house and breathe free air and not die of COVID.
Yeah.
Not everybody, for those who are still dying of COVID, it's a horrible disease. I've had it twice now. I got it really early, March 2020. That was a pain in the fucking ass. But yeah, it's just simple. It's just the finance stuff is just so. Why they don't just tell the truth? It's like yeah, with Sony saying the decline is due to the slowing of growth in the industry. Well, no, that slowing of growth doesn't cause a decline. It just means growth is slowed. You still get growth. You've shrunk because of the pandemic. The boost of the
Yeah.
pandemic is gone now. We are also in financial crisis, so stop fucking around.
Yeah. But on the upside, I think both Microsoft and Sony could enjoy increased supply for their hardware.
Yeah.
That situation is mostly easing up.
Yeah.
So hopefully they will have more consoles to sell, and we'll see if people buy them or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you said, of course, the economic situation isn't easy, but the gaming industry has proven to be resilient in times of crisis before, like in 2008, with the big Wall Street crisis.
Oh yeah, it's going to be resilient because the advantage games have got is you can buy. Let's say you buy one brand new game AAA title a month, and then you can buy pre-owned stuff, and you trade in stuff if you do the old fangled hard disk copy version of it.
As opposed to 2008, there are subscriptions now.
Yeah, and that's the other thing
That's
now
a big
where you can also, if you just get Game Pass, or I still need to have a look at the new PlayStation stuff, where gaming will have that fact of the things take longer. They're cheaper per hour, essentially.
Yeah,
Unless it's a Ubisoft game where they charge you to be able to log back on.
but no, that's definitely true, and it's one of the things that, for example, some executives like Take-Two's Strauss Zelnick always say. He says that gaming is cheaper per hour than, for example, going to the movies or doing other stuff, other entertainment.
However, it's not
So
cheaper. I don't think it's cheaper per hour than reading a book.
No, most definitely not.
yeah, that's not. But reading books is, it's kind of declining anyway.
Yes,
It,
sadly, yes,
it,
because the world is
it,
thick.
yeah.
Don't sugarcoat it, just say they're all thick bastards. They don't know how to read anymore.
Yeah.
I'm so nice.
You're the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, you're on the perfect. You're on the way to become the old cynical man that you want to be.
I'm not.
You just said you wanted to become.
No, I said I want to retire before I'm an old cynical old man.
Okay, well you're close to it already.
I feel it. I certainly feel
You know,
it.
it's a compliment for me.
I'm
It
not
means you
cynical. I
yeah,
call it
yeah,
realism.
cynical people are sincere. They don't lie.
I just call it realism.
Yeah, but you don't lie. It's been
You know,
cynical. It's been realistic.
but do you know there is also such a thing as excessive cynicism? So
Yeah,
that's
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Can't be. Not true. So, speaking of, we'll leave the GTA till last. So talking about Tomb Raider now. Is it wrong that I just thought of young Indiana Jones when I read that?
I don't know. But well, the news is well, there are a couple of news about Tomb Raider actually. The first one has to do with the movies because we're not getting a sequel to the Alicia Vikander movie.
That's a shame. I actually
Sadly.
enjoyed that.
Yeah, for some reason, Metro Goldwyn Mayer they have basically lapsed their rights, so there is now a bidding war apparently. Who knows? Maybe some streaming company will get it, like Netflix or Amazon. Who knows? But the thing is, these movies likely won't star Alicia anymore, so that's a shame, as you said. And on the gaming side, we have a leak about the upcoming title from Crystal Dynamics. And the news is that apparently it will feature a more experienced Lara, who actually has to also deal with a team of younger raiders. So I guess she's
So
more
it's like
than
Scooby Doo.
I don't know. The rumor also says that the game has a grounded tone with some fantasy elements, although, I mean, that's not really news for Tomb Raider. That's usual Tomb Raider, like. And also, Lara supposedly has left the daddy issues aside, but she will be dealing with things like loneliness and isolation. You know, things like Chris, you can vouch to this.
So my life.
Yeah.
She will be living my
And
life. You miserable bitch, Lara.
Yeah, but she has a big mansion. Do you have a big mansion?
Shut up. I'm already depressed. Don't get me
It was
worse.
it was an honest question. I don't know if you own a big mansion or not.
No, I don't.
also, there is a tidbit from Dusk Golem, although his track record isn't spotless. You know, it is this statement. He said, "I can't wait until people learn about the bisexual dating and gruesome horror elements."
Okay,
So,
now I'm interested.
are you interested more about the former or the latter? Because I think
I don't know
maybe
what I wouldn't want to comment. I wouldn't want to comment. I certainly wouldn't want to comment on such things.
I'm sure it's the gruesome horror.
Yes, I think it is. I've always been a massive fan of gruesome horror things like Silent Hill and whatnot. To be fair, I have always been a massive fan of that, but I also like, sex.
Tomb Raider become a sex game. Use it 11.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that one already.
You mean that you saw a porn version of Tomb Raider? Maybe.
I'm
So,
fairly sure. I'm fairly sure you linked me something which was very much like a porn piss take of Tomb Raider.
I will not confirm nor deny that.
What's
But
that? We should have been reviewing it for the site. Give it, how we give them out of 10. So give it however many erections out of 10. I'll give it a stiffness level.
Okay, guys, I
This
think
game has a stiffness level of 4.
It probably is a hard
It's
game.
flaccid.
A hard game anyway.
this is
Way.
becoming an NSFW podcast.
No. We've not said anything too bad. We're still fine for now.
For now.
So yeah, we'll see about Tomb Raider. It's Crystal Dynamics still, so give them a chance. They've made decent games, apart from Avengers.
Yeah. But Francesco, tell us about GTA.
This is the big thing. So it's still unconfirmed, so we don't know. But yeah, it's actually been rumored for a while. So at this point, it's probably true that GTA 6 will have the first woman playable protagonist in the series, and it's apparently a duo, man and woman, and they're inspired by Bonnie and Clyde, which I think everybody knows. It's an infamous American criminal couple. But aside from that, we do not know much else about the characters. But I think the most important thing is that the game will be a little different in tone this time around, because it reflects changes at Rockstar. They're going to be a little bit less, um, they're going to be a little bit more tame this time around because they're apparently going to not go too hard on making jokes about marginalized groups and that kind of stuff. So the report says that it's going to feel different from the past entries in the series, and until we see it, we can't tell how different it will be because this is a toning that it feels like they're going to tone down but not remove them altogether, because if they remove them, it's probably not going to be GTA anymore. So yeah, they're probably going to avoid stuff that's too sensitive.
Yes.
It's going to be a fine line to walk, I think.
Yeah. It will be interesting to see. I don't think people are shocked anymore about Grand Theft Auto. What they do, it's, people know, but they're not shocked. It would probably be more shocking if they removed all that made GTA, and be very tame. But I don't see it, because it really wouldn't be GTA anymore. It would become another game altogether.
We'll see. They may make reference. God knows. They say about the changing culture at Rockstar, but the culture hasn't changed that much. There's still, mass crunch and everything else. I don't see them changing that much. They'll probably just want to tone certain things down. They'll probably just essentially not make. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what they'll. I can't really think of anything they've really done in previous GTAs that would create an uproar. With
Well, there were some misogynistic stuff, maybe.
You had bits of that, but part of that is GTA is still a bit of a satire game, and even where they included something that could end up being sort of bad, it's like the Ballad of Gay Tony. That was probably one of the best gaming representations still, which is a sad thing, but still.
Yeah, maybe what they're referring to is, now I haven't played it in a long time, but for example, in San Andreas, the people in the ghetto were kind of comical. Let's say they were very stereotypical and not a very good look. Although it's just taking stuff and then blowing it up so that it becomes comical.
Yeah,
it was very, the base was very stereotypical. The gangster from the ghetto in Cali, San Francisco, I think it was based upon. So a mix between Los Angeles and San Francisco. That was a little stereotypical, no? The gang wars and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It was based on LA because at the end, towards the end of it, they had something which was based on the LA riots where with the police force. So yeah, it was all based on that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
But I mean, of course, these days there's a lot more, awareness about social justice issues. So I think that's what they are referring to. They will be more careful when it comes to depiction of certain social issues. Yes, that's mostly it.
The irony is going to be that everybody's going to piss and whine when it actually gets announced if they do have a female main character and whatever else. And oh my god, boycott GTA 6, and then everybody will fucking buy it anyway.
One thing the leak says is that the protagonist will be a Latina woman. So that's an interesting detail. But again, this is not surprising. And after all, Latin Americans are pretty, they're pretty significant in the population, the youth population nowadays. So it makes sense to represent them in the
Yeah, so we'll see, but yeah, it'll be one of those. Well, it'll be good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's everything on the topic. So we're on to the usual one. What have people been playing? Which I can't talk about because of embargoes.
Francesco,
So
save us.
I have something else with embargo as well, but I've been playing something else that we haven't got to review because we're bad and Nintendo doesn't like us. That's
Yay!
Xenoblade Chronicles. Yeah, it's Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I managed to dodge most spoilers because most people know, the game leaked like 10 days ago, and everybody was playing it before release. And but I was strong, and I waited for the official release, and I've been playing that. I haven't played much of it. I'm still like 6, 7 hours in, but I can tell it's a very, 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 very good game. They toned down the anime tropes from the second one, even though I loved the second one. But it was very slow at the beginning, and it was a little grating sometimes. Was a little childish. And the third one is actually a pretty good game. And there is one thing I really like that not many noticed. That the soundtrack. Well, it's a little bit of a spoiler here, but the three pretty much combines the worlds from the first and the second. And this is reflected in the soundtrack because you got violins, both violins and electric guitars, which were the main instruments for the soundtrack of the first and the second, and then they're combined with flutes, which has a thematic relevance in the story of the third one. So I think this attention to detail shows how the developer really thought about everything, and they really did. I think they really did make that great game because I don't usually feel like I stop playing the game and I can't wait to play it again. It's not something I get much nowadays, and this is what I feel with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. The only thing I wish that the Switch was more powerful because the game has some technical hiccups, bad performance on during battles, and then you can tell the resolution is very, very low. And but at least it's more playable in in portable mode. At least because the second
I,
one was at very low resolution, and
I
this
have
one is a little better.
I have one word for you: PC emulator. Well, it's
Yeah,
actually two.
I tried with the second one, and it was so complicated trying to get to install those high quality texture packs. I said I don't have time to waste on this. I'd rather play on real hardware.
Uh,
Fair
you
enough.
have to get the PC gamer mindset. Tweaking
No,
everything.
yeah, but the problem is that PC gaming right now it's so easy. Nintendo Switch emulation, at least probably it's my fault that I haven't researched things enough. not so much. I'd rather play on real hardware. Besides, I have the Switch there. It's taking dust. Let me use it every once in a while.
I forget where my Switch is.
Although I have to say, I have used more the Switch than the PlayStation 5 this year. And I think I'll use it more because there's Bayonetta 3 coming in October, and I
To
will
be
be
fair, I
playing
think
that
I
as
forget
well.
where my PS5 is, and it's right next to it.
Maybe it's below a massive layer of dust. Pretty much. At least that's where mine is. Well, no,
Yeah.
it's not dusty, but it's there. Well, I'm going
To
to
be
use it for God of War Ragnarok too.
to be honest, I do have. I mean, I looked at some gameplay for Xenoblade Chronicles. I do have one gripe with it, just by looking at the combat, and that's the auto attack. Honestly, I don't know. It feels like it's just a relic of the past these days. And
You know,
not,
it
yeah.
makes sense. It's not that important because there are ways to speed up the arts that are the special attacks, the skills. There are ways to speed up their cooldown. So as you move forward the game, you probably don't even use auto attacks anymore. They're just there. It was much worse in the first one because people love the first one. I like it, but I definitely don't love it because of the combat system because it was so slow.
Mm.
This is not the case with the third one. It's if you don't play it, that's what it feels like because it feels like you just stand there and wait for things to go. But once you move past the first few hours, it opens up a lot more, and that becomes irrelevant. The auto attacks are not that. They're there. They have a function that goes beyond just dealing low damage to enemies.
Oh, all right.
I'm just trying to think now. What game do I want to play? I want to play Lord of the Rings: Battle for Middle Earth 2 again. That was a great game. And this
Uh-huh.
is the issue with video games where firms lose the license. You can't buy that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've got a copy anywhere. I'm
I
curious
think
now.
there are some pretty serious Lord of the Rings mods for Total War games, though, if you want to.
Well, yeah.
Right.
No, let's see. Have I still got Battle for Middle Earth 2? I literally have all my old PC game discs in this. I have so many old games. I'm just thinking that now. I'm thinking I want to play Lord of the Rings: Battle for Middle Earth 2 again.
I just remembered that I have some original PC games on floppy disk.
Floppy
I
disk?
got to. Yeah, it's Cannon Fodder. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It was this top-down, real-time strategic games where they were making a parody of war. I think it was Team 17 that developed it, if I remember right. And I have them on floppy disk.
That's not too bad then. I've got Battle for Middle Earth and Battle for Middle Earth 2. Very good. I think I know what I'm going to
Yeah.
install today, just for the fun of it. And just looking a few pages on, when I go from L to P, I have got an old Ubisoft game, which, to be fair, I did not realise I had discs of.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't think so. I did. It's amazing what Ubisoft used to do.
yeah. They
Playboy the
used to do
Mansion.
they used to do Rayman, and now they won't be anymore because
I loved
Michel
Rayman.
Ansel no longer with them,
See, I
and
liked
all the
Rayman.
control. Yeah, I liked it too, especially the last two ones they did. Yeah.
So, yeah, after that, so what are you playing, Alessio? Playboy the Mansion?
No, just the usual stuff. But well, there is something else I'm playing, but I can't talk about it yet. Um,
You tease.
I can talk about the Resident Evil Netflix series because I've just finished watching it
I
last
enjoyed
night.
it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, and yeah, like you said, later in the season, they do make some more references to classic Resident Evil characters. And also, we finally see a bit of why Albert Wesker is who he is in the series. We see a bit of how he's supposed to look. Well, except the skin tone, but we see him, the real him,
Yeah.
appearing later in, I think,
And
the
and
penultimate.
that's what I find interesting about it, the fact that it is actually within the same universe. It's all, canon. So it's quite interesting how they've linked it all together.
Yeah,
So
and so I liked the character of Jade,
yeah.
his daughter. I think she was pretty cool, and like I said, since she is the same actress of Forspoken, it will be interesting to see her in the game as well. Uh,
What's for
and
spoken?
generally, I think it was a pretty good first season. Of course, there's room to improve, but it was pretty interesting to watch and kept you kind of guessing at what was going to happen next, which
Yeah.
isn't exactly the easiest thing nowadays. There are so many series. It's hard to stand out. So
Especially when it comes to Resident Evil, you usually think, well, it's zombies. That's how it started. So you think, oh, it's good. What's going to happen next? Zombies. Only it's not always zombies. So I
yeah,
enjoyed it. Yeah. See, now you've got to watch it, Francesca.
Yeah, sure. I finally got started on Stranger Things, so I got to get that out of the way first.
That's great.
uh, yeah, Stranger Things is pretty cool as well, and I think it would make a pretty good game,
Mm.
maybe.
I
Uh,
played.
uh,
Well, they did. They have released certain games, but yes, yeah,
yeah,
Nice.
I mean, a proper game. You know,
yeah, yeah.
I
This
I
is
do
another
tend.
game you should be doing, Ubisoft.
What
Beyond
is
Good and
that?
E- Beyond
Yeah.
Beyond Good and Evil.
There's good stuff. They say the external playtesting has started on the second one.
I
So
just
maybe we're
looking
Yeah,
going to
through
see
all
something in September, maybe.
all my old discs, and there's so many games I don't remember. Battle Forge. Bloody hell, EA made that when MOBAs were just taking off. It's madness. But
so many
yeah,
games.
I do think, like you say, Stranger Things would make a good, proper, action adventure style games. But I suppose it's making one either. Do you make one which follows the story of the series, or do you make one in the Stranger Things universe? Which, to be fair, could be interesting.
Yeah, I could see actually maybe Supermassive Game like a good adaptation, maybe with their
Yeah,
style.
yeah, yeah. I could see that. To be fair.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
anyway,
I think that's everything then.
Yeah.
Chris is going to Gamescom in a couple of weeks.
I am indeed. I am indeed. How many weeks away
Why
is
did you
that?
look? You look surprised. Forgot about it.
I don't know where I'm going today. Never mind. Wait. I am so. In fact, 3 weeks tomorrow. No, 3 weeks and 2 days. I fly. I
Oh,
fly to Dusseldorf, and then I fly back from Cologne because the air system is fucked.
oh,
The air system. That sounds. Yeah, air flight transport
Fine.
thing. It's all fucked. But yeah, so that'll be good. That'll be good. Keep getting booked in. Still waiting for a few companies to announce if they're doing something, but we will see. I'm so bloody crammed, and I know I can't say what games I'm going to see because everything. But I'm seeing so many games. It'll be good. It'll be good. But yeah, so on that, we'll still have a few podcasts before then.
Yeah. You will still have some extra rants to do before leaving.
And then I will die of beer. Death by beer. Death by beer and sausage.
There are worse ways to die.
Oh, there's that. Right, I think that's everything. So I'll see you all in a bit.
Bye.